hydrate it, tuck it back in the back. This is all usable that.
Can we reconstitute our dried samples that we don't really care?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Sit them in the water.
You have rejects? Yes.
Yeah, I have some rejects.
You can tear them apart and lash them into something else. Or not. Repulp them, right? Here's where recycling comes in. Yeah, I like to start on the bottom. I don't know why. I just do. Gives me a foundation and base. This is a thin sheet. You definitely need a couple of these. This is very thin. This that's going to need, oh yeah, this that's going to need recharging. And maybe this time I will come up to the top and just try to establish some kind of right now I'm just basically just getting pulp, touch, and pulp. And I'm sort of patting it towards the perlite with my hand. That's another thing, if you wet the perlite, it seems to help your first layers stick better. This does. And as I say, you know, it would be really good if today you could get your blocks glued together if you want it thicker than what it is, so that you have a chance to start thinking about carving tomorrow. Or do it tomorrow if you don't want to do it today, and you can carve on Sunday a little bit. They will not take as long to dry as this. So you might want to start in terms of what you're going to make if you're working when you're working over the weekend. You might want to start with this as opposed to that. But you should let the blocks be glued together and dry overnight before you start carving into them. And so, especially when, you know, I like to have them be a little bit, this back is just getting really thin. So I'm going to need a couple of layers. And that's okay. I try not to get, sometimes I'm just kind of tamping it with my finger so it isn't really lumpy. Now if I want to make a lump or a coil, establish some kind of an edge. And let's do that differently. I think I'm going to go for a skinny hole, just because I haven't done that for a really long time. I could leave a window in it, see if I want to see it. I'm going to leave that for you to do first. Again, you might want to do your first one simple, so you get the feel of how this goes, and then you can start to, you know, while you're doing this, think about possibilities of altering it. One of my first, not my first one, but one of my earlier ones, I did a really teeny little tiny one, and then I stuffed that inside of the perlite, inside of another stocking. So it was kind of like nesting things. And then it was a challenge to get the perlite out of the teeny tiny one. And then I decided life was too short to try that again, because at best it was a good rattle. Remember the ceramics that were having these little things put inside so you could shake them and they made rattles? You know, yes, raku that So during the drying process, you might need to go back in here and give this a little extra. You might need to pinch it a little more, make sure it's sticking. I've been known after the whole thing is dry to remove that section in there. It was never quite that deep.
This is a new strange reaper.
So if you wanted to do like divots, you can see
Boom, 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 boom. So never that makes a convex surface and it pulls in. So it would be usable, hard to keep.
Have to hold it like this the whole time it's drying.
That's right. You know, some people who do those convex surface, what they do is they pile sand, hot sand on top. And dry, let the sand hold it down. Yeah. Some kind of weight. I would do a couple layers of these, especially if the bat's not well charged. And you know, you just build them up. Any old way you wish. Just like the balloons. If you want them, let them be wrinkly, let them be wrinkly. If you want them to be nice and flat, flatten them out. Alright, so in terms of plans for working over the weekend, you might want to work on these before you start. Carve your glue board, yep, go ahead.